Hi everyone, welcome to my next video. This is a follow-up to a previous video about how to save a crazy amount of money and get ahead on your mortgage. That wasn't really the title, but that was the intent. And a lot of you had questions, which I'm so glad you asked. And I'm going to try to address most of them, if not all. And if I missed some of you, please ask me again or ask me something different. I love all your questions. I love to be helpful, and it makes me feel great if I can help you save money and improve your life in whatever way. So right out of the gate, I want to tell you that I believe very firmly in being your own advocate, whatever it is in your life. I have always been, and it's probably my personality, to question authority because authority does not always act in your best interest, and unfortunately that is true. And especially in business, when money is involved, please educate yourself and know that there is information out there that can empower you, and knowledge is power, right? Now, number one, if you presently have a mortgage, you absolutely need to come up with that mortgage payment every single month, either before or on your due date. You must maintain your payment schedule, not only for your credit score, but to stay in good standing with your lender. So my method has nothing to do with missing payments or any of that. It has to do with understanding how the amortization works on a mortgage, and a way that it can work for you as it works for me. Now, if you presently have a mortgage and you don't understand the dynamics going on in how your payments are applied, please take out your loan documents and study your amortization table. If you still don't understand it, I suggest you either go to someone who does, either a CPA or an accountant. I'm not sure who is best to help you. But the first thing you need to do is understand how it works. And if you don't and would like me to do another video on that, I would be more than helpful. I would be more than happy to do it. I have purchased many homes. I've actually built a few with my ex-husband out in California. I learned a lot about construction loans and all of that, and also with purchasing, not only as a buyer, but as refinancing. So each lender is different. Some of you don't even live in the same country I do, so your scenario may be completely different. But my goal in this video is to tell you what is working for me. So here we go. And I'm going to use my own loan and my own amortization table to show you this amazing method. First of all, I was able to do this because I refinanced. And when I refinanced last fall, because I had a seller financing and I didn't want the balloon payment after 5 years because of my age, I refinanced it was last August or September, I believe. And it's funny because right out of the blue, I came up with this idea on my way to closing, because I was thinking, my gosh, I'm 68 years old. I need to pay this off. I borrowed $75,000, which to me is not very much. It may be for you, but that's even the more reason to understand your mortgage. Now, first of all, please don't ever sign a mortgage with a prepayment penalty. It's my understanding they're not very common these days, but don't let them rush you through the closing. Take your time to read it all, and even if you don't read it all, you have a 3-day rescission, which means you have 3 days to reject that closing document and walk away and get your money back. So what I did was I sit there and I make them wait and I read it all, or most of it anyway. But since I'm familiar with most of it, I didn't have to spend hours and hours. So here we go. Here's what I did. I took out a loan for $75,000, which I was fine with because I had made a very large down payment on my cabin, and I knew it was worth 3 times that much, even back then. So driving home, I was so excited because I thought, okay, my loan closed in the beginning of the month. I believe it was the 3rd or the 4th. So what it did was it gave my first payment due date 2 months out, right? Now, that meant that I had the option of either waiting to make my first payment on that first due date, or I could jump the gun, get a head start, and make my first payment right away. And that's exactly what I did. So I made my first payment. Now here's what else I did. My payment was only $500, but I doubled it. Some of you may not be able to do that, but I encourage you, even if it's only $50, put more on that principal. Put more on that payment. So my first payment, which was not yet due, I made a principal-only payment. And that is why I could make a principal-only payment, because my payment was not due yet for that month. Okay? So that answers some of your questions. You cannot make a principal-only payment on a due date because you have to satisfy your escrow if you have one, which I highly suggest, and you have to contribute towards that interest, okay? So the principal-only payment is only accepted when there's no payment due, okay? And that's the key to being able to do this, because you have to have a due date that exceeds when you're making your payment. Now, I believe you can only do this method if you've either just refinanced at the beginning of the month with a due date 2 months ahead, or you've just made a purchase with a brand new mortgage and you've again closed at the beginning of the month. Maggie, stop. They're stuck in this little gazebo and they don't really like it, Maggie and Shippy. They're wondering why they can't go to the beach. Okay, where was I? And only close your loan at the beginning of the month. Don't explain why. Just ask the closing people to close at the beginning of the month. If you close towards the end, I believe it only gives you a 30-day due date. And I don't know if this will work. So always close at the beginning of the month, okay? So that's another tip. And this might be a lot of information, but take your time, watch this video over, take notes, because this is what I'm doing and it's working absolutely wonderful. Okay, so the first month I made a principal-only payment. Actually, the very next day after closing, I made that payment. And I waited until they set up my online account, and I jumped online and I put $1,000 in that principal. So right away, it took my balance down to $74,000, okay? But the interest is still accumulating, right? So the next month, I made a regular payment, which only put, well, actually it put a lot on my principal because I put $1,000, which I do every time, rather than the $500. And it put a good chunk on my principal balance, but it also chipped away at that interest rate. But what it did was it pushed my due date out another month, so I'm still 2 months ahead. So I hope you're staying with me, because my goal is to keep that 2-month due date out there so I can alternate on the months when I do not have a payment due to make a principal-only payment. And that's the only way you can make a principal-only payment, and I'll say it again, on a month when your payment is not due, okay? Because you need to honor that escrow payment and you need to honor that interest payment. okay? And you need to keep in good standing with the bank. They're not expecting you to make a payment when there's no payment due. And there's nothing holding you back from making a payment, okay? So, here's the third part, and a very important part to all of this. After a few months of doing this, I noticed that my interest total was getting a little too high, and I did not want that to happen. Now, I am in the I have the ability to come up with some extra money because I purchased a home within my means, meaning I did not go all out and spend every penny to buy this place, which is another key factor. Don't do that, because the bank doesn't care if you default, because they'll take your house. And it happens all the time. Just because they approved you for a mortgage doesn't mean you can afford it. It means they think that you can keep up with those payments. But they don't care if something happens or if you have a life event. Sure, they have hardship programs, but things happen in life. So again, be your best advocate and don't spend every penny to qualify for that mortgage that's going to keep you in debt month to month and keep you house poor, okay? So where was I? Oh, so now I'm about 4 months into doing this, alternating principal only, and then the next month a regular payment. And so I decided to put some money on my interest only. But there wasn't an option to do that online. So I called the bank and I said, gee, I would like to make an interest only payment, but there's really no option. And you know what they said? They said, well, that's kind of an unusual request. We've really never had anybody ask me that. And that's when I knew most people don't know you can do this, okay? So I said, okay, now I have my checking with the same bank. So I said, okay, please transfer $500 onto my interest balance. And they said, okay, fine. Okay, great. Have a nice day. Thanks, bye. And my interest tally went down by $500. So here's where I'm at, which is really, really cool. I've been doing this 8 months now. So after starting out with a balance of $75,000, which was my loan amount, my remaining balance yet to pay off is now $67,500. Okay? Now, if I had made just regular payments, it would have taken me until August of 2032 to get to that same remaining balance of $67,521. And had I just made those regular payments for all of those months, which I think is 6 years. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 7 years. My interest payments were roughly a little more than $400 a month. So just for laughs, I'll let you multiply $400 by 7 years and deduct every few months when I did make a $500 payment. So which would you do? Would you rather make a $500 payment on your mortgage for the interest, or whatever your interest payment is every few months, or would you rather make 7 years worth? It's a no-brainer. It really is. But see, here's why most people don't think of it. It's because the bank, and I'm well over my time. I'm so sorry. I tried to keep this short. The bank wants us to keep focused on month to month. They want to keep us indebted. They want to keep us enslaved to making those monthly payments and make you feel really great that you can afford that monthly payment. And that's what puts you in slavery. So I'm going to end this here. If you have any more questions, please ask me. I'll do another video. I'll talk more about the interest. I'll talk more about the amortization table. And this is a lot of information, but gosh, it's so important. But again, you need to honor that due date, whatever it is. You are not skipping payments by doing this. You are making principal only payments when a payment is not yet due. If you have a due date, which let's say it's coming up July 1st, you have to make that payment on July 1st. You cannot make a principal only payment. Well, I'm going to take that back. Maybe you can, but it depends on the lender, and your escrow will not be benefiting from that. So call your lender if you can do that, but I would hesitate against it because it might look like a skipped payment, and please don't ever do that. Keep your credit score in the green, stay in good standing with your lender, and make sure that what you're doing is good with them. Okay? So it's working for me, and some of you get it, and I'm really happy that you do. And for those of you who have questions, keep asking me because we can work through this and I can help you save a ton of money. Okay, everyone, take care.